Sprite Castle. Sprite Castle. Sprite Castle.
Mr. Rob O'Hara.
Sprite Castle.
Hey everybody, welcome to Sprite Castle. That was a big build-up for nothing exciting happening yet. What is wrong with this? This needs to be zoomed in. I like how OBS doesn't let you do that much. I mean, I could have done this. What's wrong? This camera is zoomed way out. Oh, I looked online. My camera, every time I start OBS, my camera zooms out. And I looked online, and OBS said, yep, that's the way it is. That's how it go. How's everybody? Is everybody having a good I hope everybody is having a good day. Today is my nephew's birthday and my sister's kid, and so I just got back and I'm freezing because we had a birthday party in the driveway. Let's check the old, I feel like I was going to say check the Daily Sun for today's daily headlines. That's my line from Sprite Castle. Now let's check the phone, and the phone says it is 46 degrees, and there's no way it is 46 degrees. We were outside just shivering our heads off. And, you know when you feel like, I'm drinking, hey, it's Jeffy in the house. How you doing? I got, for Christmas, I got Jeff a, thing from the liquor store that has a different flavor of Crown for each month, and the lady at the liquor store said, yeah, there's one for each month. And then I left and I went, a month. I don't think she hasn't met us yet. Yeah, so we just had the kid's birthday party, which is you know, I mean, it says 46 degrees. I'm going to guess it's negative 80. I'm going to guess it's low 40s or high 30s. And we just had a, yeah, no kidding, a birthday party in a driveway. And, you know, I know they'd planned ahead. So they made a cake. My sister and her husband they baked a cake. Hey Paul, how you doing, man? Yeah, I mean it was freezing, and anyway, then with the cake they had these little cups of ice cream, and they went around to everybody. Was like, "You want ice cream? You want ice cream?" And everybody was like, "No," which I do. I like. I love ice cream with my cake, but not when I'm shivering. And so we didn't do this intentionally, but when we pulled up, we parked behind my dad in the driveway, and he said a couple times, "I'm not planning on staying long." And so whenever he said something about ready to go, I was like, "Oh well, we're blocking you in. We're gonna go." So I felt bad that the kid's birthday. You know, he said she lit a candle and said, "Make a wish," and I said, "I wish he was born in June," which I don't know that went over well, but. It's tough times right now. Hopefully, I don't know what else he's doing for his birthday. I hope he gets, I'm sure he's having a party with his friends and stuff. That's what my kids always did. You know, they got to that age where there was the party with the family and the party with the friends. And I guess when you're 8, he's 8. He just turned 8. So I'm assuming he's having a party with the friends later, and they're going to go do something fun, I hope. So, what do we got going on tonight? Well, we got a couple of Super Nintendo games, and then we have some Super Nintendo show and tell items later on. I really got to fix this view. I need to put a drop shadow or something on the left-hand side there so that you can see the chat when I'm in the full screen view here. I need to look right now and see how far over the chat goes. Just past the one brick line down there at the bottom. All right. Well, I'll send that to management. See what they can do. Okay, let's see. Hey, I see some people showing. There's Z9K9 and 1010. How are you doing? Mr. Gornfeld, and I see a lot of people there showing in there. Dwight Schrute. Who knew? Dwight Schrute. My kids love The Office. My kids, one year for Halloween, I can't start the show out with show and tell, but I may do that. Let me see if I can find this real quick. It's hard to remember what age the kids did things, you know what I mean? And I have all my pictures. I have them sorted by different things, by year and stuff like that. Let's see if it was 2017. Feels like it might have been 2017. It is 2017. Let's do this. And this. And this. All right. Let's go to El Monitor number dos. And in 2017, my son decided he wanted to go as Dwight Schrute for Halloween. And so he went to Goodwill and got him a shirt and a tie and got everything set up. But the thing is that the idea for the costume was really my daughter's idea. And so let's go see here. My daughter also went as Dwight Schrute. She put on the name tag that said Dwight Schrute in case anybody asked. And she also got a tie. So both of them, they went as twin Dwight Schrutes for Halloween, and they enjoyed it very much. They were big fans. I liked The Office when it was on, and it just seems like, man, that took on a life of its own, man. The kids just love The Office, and all their school friends love it and stuff. It's fun. All right, so let's get this started here, and let's take a look. We're gonna do some sound checks. Oh. All right. I don't think that's loud enough. I gotta go by sight here. All right, you guys give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. How does that sound? Kind of feeling it's going up just, yeah, I think that's about, okay. Hey, Cowbird Boy, all right. Let's go. Let's see if the old can try. And by the way, we're playing some Super Nintendo tonight, so there's only one gamepad. Good for that. This is not a Super Nintendo. I told this story the other day. If you can see that up close. There was an ad floating around on Facebook a year or two ago that said, free controller, all you got to do is pay shipping. And I went, oh, okay. And they said you can have Nintendo or Super Nintendo. And I went on there and I said, I took a Super, and they were USB. So I said, I'll take a Super Nintendo, a free joystick, and all you had to do was sign up. And then shipping was $14.95 from China, which is a little suspicious because I just bought some stuff from China and shipping was about 4 cents. And but then it said you could get, there was a 2-for-1, said you can also get a Nintendo and Super Nintendo, and then the shipping was separate on each one. So I paid $30 shipping on 2 free joysticks, which would have been about the price it would have cost me if I had just gone locally to go get them. So live and you learn. You live and you learn. Look Look at that little Yoshi coming up there. We used to have a friend. I was just talking to Steel Rat earlier this week about a friend of ours that we have not seen in a while, who was nicknamed Yoshi. And he was not all that different from Yoshi. And good guy, but you know, sometimes some people are just hard to find. Some people don't. They didn't really make the jump to online, and then when they move or change phone numbers, it becomes, oh boy, I forgot. I pressed the wrong button here. One player game. Let's see, now we've got endless, which is no fun. We've got the time trial, which is no fun. The stage clear is probably what we'll do. Oh, and then versus. I think versus is probably the way to go. You must clear all the panels. I think we'll be doing some versus here. Now, if you've never played, this is Tetris Attack for the Super Nintendo. And we'll just start over here on easy. Howdy there. Welcome back. Well, I just said I was a new player. Oh, no, I did. I should be doing... I'm assuming one of these is on a computer. Let me see if it starts moving. Yeah, okay, so I'm on the left, computer's on the right. So the goal here is you got to line up 3 things in a row and then they disappear. And that is the simplest explanation of this game. But if you line up and do combos, like I'll get 4 hearts here, then you get to poop on your opponent. And see how I dropped that big block of poop over there? And that is really the name of the game. Is dropping poop and dealing with the other guy's poop that he drops on you. Now you can do some pretty big combos. And if you... so what I have to do to get rid of this poop is I have to get a combo here that's touching the block of poop, and then it turns it into... There's probably a more technical name for the poop. Oh boy, I got stuff that's getting up here. So you gotta be able to do block management, move things around here. Oh. Uh-oh. Be able to deal with stuff. This is, I believe, the only video game that ever got my wife to stop talking to me. She actually cried, and because she said I was dropping too much poop on her and it wasn't fun. Well, I'm not doing very good. I have not played this in many years, but I just heard it mentioned on the... Must have been the Amigos that mentioned it. Oh no. So what I would do here... Oh no. I've done terrible things. Normally what I would do is try to arrange things where I could, like this, where I know it'll touch. Did I get him? Yeah. Not very... I mean, I didn't do very good. Somebody write that password down. That's for level 1. We're going to need that. Laquito and Gunio. I'm free! So that's what we're doing. This is going from site to site here and freeing our friends. Alright, Yoshi. The glacial stage. Alright, let's be a little bit more aggressive this time here. Let's start building some combos up here. So the way that you build combos is the easiest way is to build them up vertically. So like here's 1. Uh-oh, I didn't mean to do that. Well, now I gotta deal with this. Oh boy. A lot of pooping going on here. Oh, what should I do? What should I do? Get that out of the way. So you can build these little vertical ones, which are pretty easy to do. Like, see, I've got 2 hearts there, and then I've got a heart there and a heart there. So let's move that one over, and we'll do a 5 combo, which will do a bigger pooper on him. So what you want to do there is catch that when it's falling. That, and then we'll do a double block on it like that. So this game, as you can see, could get out of control in a hurry, and you can really make a friend or loved one upset and make you sleep on the couch, in theory. Oh, what are we going to do here? Well, I don't want to use these yet, but we'll move that around. Oh, take that, Mr. Tetris. Beat my wife in chess in 5 moves about 20 years ago, and we still don't talk about chess. Well, I understand. One of my dad's famous examples, something he taught me at a very young age, is he told me that there are 4 ways that you can end any game of chess, or that a game of chess could come to an end. And the first is a checkmate. You get the other player's king where they can't move, and it's checkmate. The second way is you can have a stalemate, where I believe what it is if you make 5 moves back and forth and you can't take a piece or something like that, a king moves, so you have a stalemate. The third way that a game of chess is a player can surrender. And so I remember racking my brain, and I was like, what's the 4th way? And he said, you could just pick up that board and throw it across the room. And I never forgot that lesson, because it's a great lesson in thinking outside the box. And so anytime that, somebody gives you 2 choices, you say, oh, you can only do this, or you can only do that. Never forget that there's probably a 3rd choice that may go outside the bounds of what they were thinking, but it's always there. Hey, I see Sad Professor just jumped in. How you doing, sir? We are playing a little Tetris Attacks here tonight. Now, I gotta tell you that I have not... it's the big A! What's up, Mr. Aaron? So I think I heard. Now, you know what, Aaron? You moved your Sunday stream, where I can't catch it live anymore, unfortunately. Aaron, for those of you that don't know, is one half of the Amigos podcast, and he is also... Okay, I'm going to save those... should I save those hearts? Yeah, I am going to save those hearts, because I know he's going to be... I don't want to move that out. Alright, I'm going to swap those. I really don't want to do those yet, but... Alright. I guess we'll start. So Aaron does the Amigos podcast with Boat, and but he also does another show with his brother, the Brent. And on that show, it's Amigos Retro Gaming, or ARG, presents. And unfortunately, it's at a stream time when my dad has we have a weekly date where he comes over and we have coffee. Oh, I shouldn't have dropped that one. Oh boy. Alright, so I'm going to hang on to that. Let's do that, and then drop that. Drop that. I love the music on this game. These songs are just so soothing and memorable, Well, except for when it starts going fast. That's alright. That's all part of the plan, little Tetris man. Oh. Okay, that's what I was worried about. Alright, we gotta shuffle some stuff, boys. Alright, let's draw that combo. Let's get that. Let's get that. Let's get that. We got our free up some stuff here. It's like moving. You know, I'm really good at moving. Every time that I've moved, everybody is always amazed. They're like, oh, wow, you can get a lot of stuff in a car. And it's that Tetris. Now, I'm not a left-brain person, unfortunately. I say unfortunately. I'm blessed with a very, very right-brain, creative, and strange brain. I'm not good at organizing things. A steel rat can attest to. I don't know that I've ever had a clean room. And you had to watch a Lexus ad to getting in here. Oh yeah. So anyway, what I was saying is that the Amigos or ARD Presents, they had to move their show back an hour recently, and unfortunately it falls right on that same time. But then I watch it after my dad leaves. I come in and I watch the show, and they had mentioned something, I think last week, about Tetris Attacks. And I believe it was Aaron, not your brother, who said that the game didn't ring a bell, which is not that unusual. I think a lot of people know this game, but it's not really a Tetris game, you know what I mean? So when you hear the word Tetris Attack, you know, I don't think that, I mean, it doesn't jog my memory as being a Tetris game, you know? I shouldn't have done that. Alright, let's set that up, Okay, so this is, when I swap this one, I'll get, oh, you know what I should do? There we go. So when I swap this, I'll get the 4 blues and 5 purples, which should drop a little bit of poop over on you. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Uh-oh. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, well, that works out. See, now sometimes you can just bury them, and if you hit the L and R triggers, you can move the pieces up more quickly, which you don't always want to do, except for like right here. Like I could see that purple one down there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this out of the way so that falls on those purples, so that when I get those purples, it'll unlock those, unlock that, send a little poop your way. There aren't a lot of games that suffer from, for me, because I'm not a good gamer, that suffer from input lag. So I had set up a Raspberry Pi in the living room, and oh boy, stuff's moving fast now. What are we doing here, boys? Let's get that. Oh, little poop on you. Yeah, so this is Tetris Attack. Sorry. And it should be on everybody's best game list. And like I was saying earlier, this is the only game that I've actually been able to make my wife cry playing, and that she no longer wanted to play. So we'll play a few more rounds here, and then I've got some show and tell stuff. You know, you guys know that I love my show and tell on the stream. So we have some Super Nintendo related show and tell stuff. All right, Yoshi. All right, what am I going to do here? I'm getting up on the... I just love the music on this game so much. And I do know that Steel Rat and I played this many times. I think probably, Jeff remind me, but I think we played this in your apartment. Oh, I should have got that. That should have dropped down. Let's move the star over here. I need to go get this music and put it on my phone or something. Just not that I want to drive around and listen to it. It's not that kind of music, but maybe like fall asleep to or whatever, or just tell a sweet story. Like I might just call people and be like, "Hey there, friend." It's like one of those. What do they call it? ASMR. Is that what that is? Those videos. I'd be like, "Hey, friend. I'm just calling to wish you a happy night. Calling to give you a little Tetris of love." Is streaming easy to set up? I want to start streaming PS2. Well, I'll tell you what I will be doing, and probably next week I have ordered a. Okay, so the software that we're all using, that all of us are using to stream, is called OBS, and OBS is free. And I've gone in. I think it's on my YouTube channel. I think it's on robohara.com, or I mean youtube.com/robohara, I think. But I did a short. Oh, this is the Ribbit guy. I forgot that. That shows, my basic OBS setup, and it's like anything else. You can make it as easy or complicated as you want. A lot of people do a lot of little fancy transitions and stuff. Mine's not too fancy. I've got a few different. Oh, look at all that poop setup. Got different things, if you've got an OSSC, then yeah, you're set up. So I've set up a few different screens. I've got this screen that's got just a close up for when I'm talking and not playing the games and stuff like that. I've got, this main one here. I've got this that shows the info that goes to my podcast and stuff like that. And once you set that stuff up, I've also got one that just points to a monitor. So it just goes over to one of my blank monitors. So if I wanted to, show a picture or something like that, or a document or something like that, I could show it over there. So, you can just set your stuff up. If you want to make overlays, they've got to be in PNG format so that you can set your, so that you can have a clear, transparent layer. I do them in Photoshop, but go on YouTube and type in any of that stuff. Type in, OBS overlays, OBS scenes and stuff like that. There's all kinds of different things. Now, I just ordered, and I ordered it from J2 Games, I did not have an OSSC, by the way. I thought, how much are those? I think those are kind of expensive, aren't they? I just ordered a Chinese knockoff HDMI streamer. I mean, it's a USB thing. I think it was $20. Oops, I didn't mean to use that yet, but that's all right. It was J2 Games had them on sale for $20, and then I bought. There's an adapter that goes to it that also has an analog input on it, and so yeah, I was gonna say I thought they were. You got that from a listener? What do I get from my listeners? A hard time. That's what I get. You got some pretty sweet 3D printed swag from some of your listeners. Alright, hold on. I gotta get into the pooping business here. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. There's a little poop for you, sir. Let's do this. Oh no, that doesn't sound good. That's what I was afraid of. You do get to a point, I get to a point in this game where it starts getting hard to talk and play at the same time. Oh boy, I got trouble. Got trouble in paradise over here, folks. A lot of pooping going on. Not a lot of return poop. Alright, after this round, assuming I win, and you know what? It's always good to bet on old Jack Flat. Oh boy. Except for maybe today. I don't like that sound. Oh boy. Oh boy. What's that sitting on? Alright. The winner. It's hard to use for someone new. Once they updated it so it had on-screen menus, that went a long way. Boat instantly blew one up. You got two of them. Oh man, that's crazy. All right, so let's pause this for just a second, and we're going to have a little show and tell here. So, back in the day, now this is dating myself, so I know that some of you guys are about my age. I'm in my mid-40s, but I know some of you guys are younger. I was calling BBSs, and this would have been... Well, I mean, I started calling BBSs in the early 80s, actually, when I was a little kid. But I went to HoHoCon, which was a hacker conference that was put on by the Cult of the Dead Cow in 1994. And I went down there, and it was definitely an eye-opening experience. It was just all kinds of crazy speakers and you know, different things. I mean, it was a really crazy time. And while I was there, I saw these guys loading Super Nintendo games off of floppy disks and playing them through a projector. And I had no idea, never heard of that. And so I asked one of them, and he told me that it was a thing called a console copier, and it was a device that plugged into the Super Nintendo. So it sits on top of the Super Nintendo, and then you could put a cartridge in the top of it, and there's a floppy disk drive on the side. And so it works two ways. One is you can put a cartridge in the top and save the game out onto a floppy disk. Now, the biggest, you got to be able to convert megabits to megabytes. There's 8 bits to a byte. So the biggest Super Nintendo cartridges were 32 megabits. Is that right? Yes, because you divide by 8, and that's 4 megabytes. So the biggest one would span across 3 floppy disks. But the original, the smaller games would fit on 1 floppy. So the early games would fit on 1 floppy. So I came home, and they had sent me a BBS to call that said it was... So this was one of the U.S. headquarters of the group Fairlight. So if you were around in the 80s or 90s, you probably heard, you saw cracking screens of the group Fairlight. And so you had to call the Fairlight U.S. headquarters and message somebody, and they would give you basically a contact to order a console copier. And it was $300. And they only took mail orders. So basically, I mean, you got to think about this. This is really kind of pre-internet. It's definitely, for me, it's definitely this is late 94. It's pre-World Wide Web. It was not pre-internet. I was getting online, getting on IRC and doing FTP and stuff in late 94. But I had never seen the World Wide Web yet. So you had to call this BBS. I had to call it long distance, get a guy's information, and then he said, mail me basically a blank check, or not a blank check, but a money order for $300, and then I buy them and I'll get it shipped to you from Hong Kong. And I remember just having a gut wrenching, in my stomach, thinking, this thing is never going to show up. But it did. It did show up. I mean, it took a couple of months or whatever. And I don't have the unit here because the unit is out in my workshop right now. But what I did bring in was the box, which I still own. And this is the box for a Super Wildcard console copier. Now, if you've ever messed around with Super Nintendo ROMs and you see the extension SWC, that was Super Wildcard, SWC. So it was dumped with one of these devices. So again, as you can see over here, of course, I hate how it's always reversed. But this is the bottom part that plugged into the Super Nintendo. There's the top part. And actually, you can't see it on here because there's a flip down little lid right here. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in a second. And then over here is the floppy drive. You may be able to see it a little bit better. Well, I think it's actually the same picture. I don't know anywhere on there. But yeah, so this is a Super Wild Card. But as you can see, it is definitely branded from Fairlight, the Cracker Group. And so they put their official seal on it and said this was an official Fairlight device. So I'm trying to see if so there were lots and lots of different Super Wild Card console copiers, and this is the I believe there was a DX and a DX2, and this is the original DX. You could see also that there is a serial number, and then it says it came from Front Far East, which was the company. And there is a serial number on there about 18203. I used the crap out of this. And of course, Super Nintendo emulation was not good at that time. But I could download Super Nintendo ROMs. People were uploading to BBSs and trading Super Nintendo ROMs. And I could download them, put them on floppy disk, and plug this, into my Super Nintendo and load the games off of floppy disk and play them on the original hardware. Also with this, because I keep everything, is the manual that came with it, the Super Wildcard DX right there. And you can see that it has the Front Far East logo on the back, and then it came from Taiwan. And it has all the instructions how to do stuff. And basically it just tells you what settings are on each page and how the settings work. And of course it says Front Far East all over it. So this is the first console copier that I ever had. And it led me down a road. Now, if you know me, you know that my wife has dubbed me the collector of collections, and I am working on a book that I expect to be done very, very soon called The Collector of Collections. I'd like to have it out by the end of this month. And I started collecting console copiers. Now, that came later. That was definitely with the early days of eBay, and eBay was not blocking these. Now, if you put a console copier up on eBay, and a lot of people will report them, and they get canceled or whatever. So there was a time where they were very hard to find. And the thing is that they're not today. They're not. I mean, now we have EverDrive cards, right? You could just take an EverDrive card and plug it into a Super Nintendo. So these are not as convenient as an EverDrive, right? But I've always had a soft spot for these things, these console copiers, and there's a lot of different brands, and they're all kind of weird. So don't quote me on this, but I believe at one point in time, and it doesn't take a lot to do this, but I had a couple of people tell me that I may have the largest collection of console copiers. I probably have, I don't have that many, but I mean, I have a lot to people that have never seen them. I probably have 20, but I have like 4 for the Nintendo 64. I have a lot of Super Nintendo ones. I have a couple of Sega Genesis ones. There are some other different ones that I had. That's funny that you say Shiver Me Timbers, because I actually went to a video game show, and things are happening. I hear things happening, but I missed it. But I went to this video game show and I set up a table, and the whole theme was a pirate table of stuff. And I had gold coins, and I had beware of pirate signs and things like that. Hey, it's the pinback. And so anyway, it was kind of cool thing. So let me show you a couple of the other ones. And I just grabbed these. These aren't like, from a museum or whatever. These are like in a box that I have sitting here. So another very popular brand, and these were much cheaper than the Super Wild Card was like the Cadillac, this was like the Festiva of console copiers. This is a Super UFO. Hey man, I know that you don't live too far, and you have a open pass to come anytime and come dig through stuff and come see all the things over here at the Flack Museum. This one is it has a serial number of like 23,000. So there was a lot of these. So yes, this is the UFO Super Drive. This is a version 6. Steel Rat knows all the adventures, and he's been involved in a lot of the adventures. So again, the way that this works is you take a Super Nintendo cartridge and put it in the top here, right? And then you have the floppy drive on the side. And so you can do 2 ways. One is save it from the cartridge to the floppy disk, and then you have archives of your game. So you could, back in the day, you could touch stuff and FLAC. That's true. The more bits, the more, only if you throw bits, only Pinback can touch stuff. But then the other way is possible too. So you plug this into your Super Nintendo, and then you put the discs in, and you no longer need the cartridge. You just load the games right off of floppy. So now a lot of these use weird power supplies, but you can find the power supplies. And also you notice there's a parallel port on the back of this. So there was a way to hook up, basically a parallel, I think it's actually a serial cable, but you could hook that up and connect it to your PC, and then dump the discs over that way. I also grabbed off the shelf. Let's see which one this is. So if you've heard of the Super UFO, you've probably also heard of this one. This one is even a bigger off-brand kind of thing. But this is the Pro Fighter console copier. Again, it's the exact same thing, and I suspect a lot of these were just pirated versions of each other, but the Pro Fighter is another one that was pretty popular at the time. Now, I've heard, and I can't verify this, but someone told me that some of these don't use a normal floppy drive, and there's something rattling inside this one. That's not a good sign. That they used a special kind of floppy. So I've always been worried. I always try to keep them in temperature controlled areas, because I'm afraid that if the floppy, like if the belts melt or something like that, that it may be difficult. But all of these still work. I still test them and play them every now and then. But again, they all have the exact same idea, which is this plugs in on top of your Super Nintendo. This goes into the cartridge port. Now I have, I didn't grab it, but I have one that's called a MGH, or a multi-game hunter. And what it had was this part down here was interchangeable. And so a multi-game hunter, you could plug and unplug these different things. And I'm wondering if you can't do that with this one. I can't really tell, but it kind of looks like it plugs in. But so it would have an adapter for either Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis. And I'm wondering, I can't tell here because it looks like where the cartridge is, there's another slot there. But maybe that would be dremeled out or popped out or something for an upgraded model. But this is a Pro Fighter 10 console copier. There's also a weird cover on this part over here. I don't know who developed these. I think it's just smart guys. And literally, like, these were super impossible to find in the US. You know, you almost always had to import them. So I think Bung Enterprises, if you follow, let's go see if we can find this story real quick. But so Bung made a bunch of console copiers, mostly for the Nintendo 64, and they made one called the Doctor, or the V64. So there was a CD64, a V64, and then my favorite was the Z64, which used zip disks. But the CD and the V loaded games off of CD-ROMs, and they were a little bit more advanced. If we go over here to left monitor, you can see this was a V64, but Bung were the ones who, yeah, exactly. You know, this is, and one of my favorite topics that I will go on and on about is security through obscurity, right? Which is the idea that a device is secure because people can't do anything. I mean, if you go back to like the Amiga CD32, or I think even the Sega Saturn, where there was no copy protection because they go, well, nobody could burn CDs. And then, you know, a year later, we had CD-ROM burners and people burned CDs like crazy. And you know, it killed several different, and Dreamcast had a little bit, but again, it was security through obscurity. And so that's exactly what these were, was, you know, the cartridges didn't have any copy protection on them because, you know, they were like, well, what could you do with a cartridge? Well, you spend enough money. If you know the right guys in Hong Kong, you could order one of these. So again, this is probably the crown jewel of the collection, I would say, just because I ordered it new and got the box, the power supply. This one also has a serial port. I'm looking here on this side. It had a save mode, so basically it had save states. It had a cheat code finder. It also had a password function, and it says this function supports current FFE, that's the Far East, codes, as well as code finder and action replay and game genie format. So you could put all that stuff in. And it had a built-in code finder where it would just basically you know, go through the code and find that. There's a file editor, a test function configuration manager, and a picture viewer. And it says this allows all non-computer owners to view pictures created with a computer without having to boot up their computer. So that would be a great feature. If you paid $300 and you're like, hey, I could look at JPEGs. I mean, that's basically, oh, hey, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Shroot. So you say, is there a copier missing from your collection that you would like to get your hands on? And there's a couple of different ones. But there's one specific one that I was never able to find, which is a V64 Junior. Now I have the three Nintendo 64. The main three were the V64, the CD64. Both of those were CD based. And the Z64, which, by the way, there's a reason that on my desk drawer, I have stacks of zip disks. It's for a Z64. But the V64, which was the CD one, there's also one called the V64 Junior, which was a much smaller little device, and it was parallel port only and battery backup. And so there was no CDs or whatever, but it kind of bridged this gap at the time where you could hook it up to your PC, plug the cartridge in, and dump it right to the PC. But they were trying to save money because there was no CD-ROM or any type of other loading mechanism on there. And I've never found. I saw one time, but it said it didn't work. And I really wanted, I really like to go through these. But yeah, I have literally I have stacks and boxes and stuff, and they deserve to be out on display somewhere. But there you go. There are some Super Nintendo console copiers. Maybe someday we'll do a Nintendo 64 stream, and I will dig out some Nintendo 64 cartridges. You know what? We're all winners on this stream. Now look, I'm cold. I'm cold. I was on a streak. I haven't lost yet, and I'm jumping back into a hard level. So we will see. You know what? After I die here, I'll see if I can dig out some pictures of my pirate booth that I had set up. I'll tell you something that was interesting. There's a guy, and one of you guys maybe could look it up or something, but his name is the Fat Man, and he is a musician. He's famous for. All right, now watch this. He set up the hearts. He set up this. Oh, let's get this star over here, and then you let it. Oh, you let it rip. Then you drop the poop. Oh, I should have got that. Should have set that up as a combo. Uh-oh. I hear some poop coming my way. So anyway, the Fat Man was a guy who developed a lot of games, and he was mostly for music. Yeah, we got to talk about the MSD drive sometime. Oh, say this is where we start coming in. So anyway, the Fat Man was invited to a guest at a video game show that I was at, and it was the one where I had the pirated stuff set up, and so he came around and he was looking, and he started kind of asking questions, and I was like, oh. And I showed him, how the whole thing worked. I was like, well, this is a console copier and blah, 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 and he was really interested. I mean, he's a guy, he's into technology and stuff like that. And after I did the whole demo for him, at the end he goes, so this is how people stole my work? And I was like, I felt so bad. I felt bad that I'd showed him the whole thing, and I was like, yeah, kind of, I was like, but not me. I didn't download stuff I didn't own. That's me making a non-believable face. If a guy tells you he'll spend $300 to order something from Hong Kong to play ROMs, he's probably a guy that has downloaded one or two things from the internet. So, Steel Rat is mentioning in the channel the MSD drive, which was kind of the epitome of our copying systems for the Commodore 64. Jeff had got, and I don't remember if it wasn't your primary drive. I remember you had a 1541. Oh boy, I'm in trouble. Oh no, 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 no. Oh no. What's going on? I got squished. Oh no. Well, that's some bold dookie. Try again. Well, yeah. Somebody get that password. So there was a I think Commodore actually had the well, I know there was the FSD, and I think there's an MSD single drive, but they made this thing called the MSD dual drive, and the MSD dual drive was 2 floppy drives in one container. I mean, in one case. Oh boy. What are we doing here, folks? And so the thing about it was, if you know that basically the Commodore 64 floppy drive has its own processor and its own memory. It has the same processor that the computer has, and you can load software into it and run it directly off the drive. And so the MSD Dual was set up to where you could load something like Fast Hack'em into the drive, and it had a sensor to detect when floppy drives had been inserted in. And so based off of that, you could just sit there and copy discs all day long. You could disconnect it from the computer. You just loaded Fast Hack'em, and then there's another blue. Oh, there's two blues. Oh gosh darn it. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And so when we would go to Copy Fests or whatever, we would take Jeff's drive and load up, Fast Hack'em or whatever. Oh, that was stupid. Just disconnect it from the computer, and then we could either play games or whatever. But all you had to do was shove discs in that thing, and it would just make copies. And that thing was a beast, just a workhorse, man. It would just work all day long. And I don't know if Steel Rat knows this, but those things are so expensive now. I see them for $400 or $500. Like they're just super hard to find. Oh, what did I get on here? No. Let's do that. Gotta stay cool and calm. Except for now. Now is a good time to panic. Yeah. 2 Epic joysticks and a Copy Fest plus $50. Really? I'll give you double that right now. Alright, let's try one more here. I think I might have met my match with this guy. Alright, I'm going to do a different technique. I'm just going to poop on him the whole time. If I can. Doodaloo, doodaloo. Oh, man. I hate when I'm not paying attention and I do that. There's the old double. You want to double with that, sir? That just made no sense. Notice it gets quiet now and stuff got real, guys. Alright. Oh boy. Maybe later in the show I'll bring my wife in here and make her cry. Not sure she'll be a fan of that idea. Alright, there we go. There we go. Alright, more poop. Oh boy. Oh, I don't have one of those, but I need one of those. I'm in trouble. Oh boy. What's going on here? Get that down. Alright. Well, I need that down a level. Oh, we'll do that. The exclamation marks are hard just because you don't get very many of them. outside. No poop from you, sir. Oh no. Oh no, this is when I panic. I'm panicking. Oh. Got 2 5 1/4 drives and spare Raspberry Pi. I'll make you one. God. That'd be awesome, man. That's, let me see if I can find this. Our home digital. And we'll go to OVGE. And let's take a look at some pictures here. And nope. Open. Left monitor. So here is my setup from OVGE. Now this is not me. If you call BBSs right now, and you've heard of Particles BBS, that is Icebreaker, the sysop of Particles BBS, and he is sitting at my table because I was around taking pictures. So we're going to zoom in here, although I think I have some, I know I have better pictures, so here we have, I still have this TV, by the way. This TV's in this room. This is awesome TV. But we have the Super Nintendo here with, there's my Super Wild Card, SW Super Wild Card DX. That's the box that I've been showing you. That's the actual unit hooked up to a Super Nintendo. This is another Super Nintendo with one of my copiers. That might actually be the Super UFO. Although, this one is light on top and dark on bottom. That could be the Super UFO. Here is a Sega Genesis in the middle, and this is the multi-game hunter. And so this is the one that's almost like Legos. You can add and remove parts to this one. And then here is a Sega Genesis with a very old flash cartridge. You can see there's a battery there, a little battery for the battery backup. And I'd written little things. You can see all these little cards, these little placards. This is, right here, you can see this is that's probably the VC60, or the V64 right there, which is hooked up to, so the Nintendo 64, it's set on top of that. There's a CD-ROM drive on the front. Here is my Z64, which is a zip drive. Console copier. And then right here, I don't know if you can see this very well, but that is a developer's original PlayStation 1. And I actually bought 5 of these because I'm crazy. But you can see that it's blue. So it's an original PlayStation, but it's blue. And the bottom of this is Acclaim. And they came from when Acclaim filed bankruptcy. And they sold off all their assets, and so that's where those came from. But those are they're just like a normal original PS1, except for they don't have there's no copy protection, so it will play burned CDs without a mod chip or anything. And I believe it has either more video RAM or more RAM or something like that, so that they could load debuggers at the time as well. But so this was my little table that I had set up. This was back when people went out in public and did things. This is another shot of the table. You can see some guys there playing some games, and some pictures of console copiers. This is my Beware of Pirates sign, which I still have in my room in here somewhere. What else here? There's another shot of the table. Okay, so I think those are the only shots of the table. Hey, this is Messiah. I don't know that there's anybody in this room that remembers Messiah, but they were the very first people that were going to sell a Nintendo, a new modern Nintendo. This was, of course, before some of the other ones that had come out. And but the first thing they sold were wireless joysticks, and so they sold wireless NES. You know what? This might have been the trip. You know what's funny is, let's go back here. Oh, I was looking for that. Ivan Stewart. I got you. The Ivan Stewart was on the monitor. Yeah. Yep. I was gonna say it's possible that my Ivan Stewart arcade game that I owned. Is there anything on the table that I don't still own? I threw away the fishing net. I wish I still had those pirate flags. I'd hang those up. That was pretty cool. Yeah, this is just some of the arcade games that people come. This was a really fun show. Hey, you know what? I don't want to embarrass Steel Rat, but I think I have. Let's go see what we have here. Of course, this is not exciting to look at a blank screen, so let me pull this back over here. But I think I have. There was one year that we did the show well, there were many years. Steel Rat went with me on many of these and helped me from beginning to end. He was my a muscle to help me carry stuff in. He helped me hook stuff up. Everything from beginning to end. But I'm trying to find... I don't know if I can do it quick enough. But so this was funny. At this show, at this one particular show, because I would do a different theme every year when I went to these shows, and so I went to this one, and I set up a whole bunch of text adventures. So let me open this up. I'll go over to this monitor here. And so I set up all these computers to play text adventures. And there's Mr. Steel Rat on the far right there. And right in the middle is Mr. Rob Sherwin. If you have not... I haven't made you dress up like Mr. Moonpie quite yet. But yeah, so what I did was these were all computers that I had set up that were all playing text adventures. Just different things. There's an Amiga 1200 there. There was a PC. There was a portable PC. Just all different kinds of things there, right? But this was the year that that Get Lamp, the documentary, came out, and so that was kind of what inspired this table. And so, by the way, this is one of my favorite pictures. This kid right here. I had loaded up one of the, I don't remember if that's Spider-Man or the Hulk, but there was a couple of comic book inspired text adventures, and I loaded it, and that kid played that game for like half an hour, and his mom kept saying, okay, you ready to go? And he was like, no, and he just did that, and like in my head, no, they were all different games. I had loaded up all different games on them, and anyway, in my head, this kid walked away and found some sort of interest for old computers and text adventures. That was the best part about setting this stuff up, because what we learned at this show was, I went every year for like 10 years, and if you just set up like consoles that had fighting games, you would get teenagers and people would come rough up your stuff or whatever. But if you set up something weird like this, text adventures, then you got very specific people, But I loved this kid that came. And so anyway, like I said, this was the year of the documentary Get Lamp. And so my dad had got me this lamp. Oh, look, there's my box copy of Zork 1. And so my dad had bought me this lamp, and we put it out, and I made this little sign, and it says "Actual Lamp" from Get Lamp, and people were coming by and like taking pictures of it and asking if they could hold it and take a picture and stuff, and I was like, you bet. By the way, this is not the real lamp from Get Lamp. This is a lamp that was I don't know. I'm sure my dad got it at a thrift store or something. But this is, oh, by the way, hey, here's a great picture. The guy that had this booth at the end of the day, Aaron, you'll appreciate this, said he would sell me every apple on this table for $100 total. And I was like, you bet. And so I don't even know what they all are. I don't know that I'd be able to tell by looking at them. But you've got some Macs in here. You've got some 2GSs in this stack. Some different Macs. They're not in this picture, but I also got 2 or 3 Apple IIes out of the deal, which was really all I wanted. But he kept throwing in, yeah, that's right. And then I was like, oh, Jeff, I've bought something for us. I do remember I sold one of the 2GSs on that monitor, and it paid for the whole stack. So everything else was just icing on the cake. But we did learn, oh, this is, if you guys know Drew Stone online, he built this table and was selling it there. But there's a million pictures we could go through. Those are also Drew Stones. But yeah, Jeff learned a lesson with me, which is don't let me drive the pickup to shows. And don't let me take the trailer to auctions, because yeah, I'm a buyer. I remember, whenever I was up to 30 arcade games and people would say, man, how did you get so many machines? I'm like, well, they take credit cards, right? Like, those auctions take credit cards. So once you buy a trailer, it's pretty easy after that. That's the hard part. The hard part's buying the trailer. All right, you bastards. I've got to set up more combos here. Doodaloo, doodaloo. I don't want to do that. Alright, we'll do that. And we'll just go ahead and launch these. Oh, great. Already, huh? Do, do, do. I should get rid of those. I was trying to catch that, but it didn't work. The problem is if you get those little skinny towers and you let those things build up, that's where you get in trouble. Alright. We gotta keep pooping, folks. Alright, we got no hearts. See, this is where I get in trouble. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. Let's put that over there. Oh boy. Alright. Bad news. Oh boy. Uh-oh. Oh no, where's my cursor? Oh no. Oh, I couldn't get to it fast enough. Look at that, I always had him. Oh man. Well, I think that's it for me. I hit the wall. Couldn't get past him, so. Anyway, I hope you guys had a fun time watching Tetris Attack. Hope you liked all the console copiers. I'm not going to lie. This one's not bad. I got concerns about this one. This one's making a little bit of noise. Not too sure about that one, so. So let's see, this is an off week. So tomorrow, there will be a new episode of You Don't Know Flack, and we will be talking about the Mister. I got my Mister hooked up here. I've been doing some Mister gaming, so we'll be talking about the Mister. So if you're not subscribed, go over to podcast.robohair.com. You can find all my shows and everything there. And I think we will close out the stream here, and then we'll go check Twitch real quick and see if we can find somebody to raid.